We shall take the 7th verse as the last stanza. So praise we great and famous men, the fathers named in story, and praise the Lord who now as then reveals in man his glory. The last stanza.
Family, and it will be read by Ambassador Kofi Annan.
On the 18th August, Kofi Annan, conviction, who was as committed to instilling the values of fairness, integrity, kindness, each of us and the family as a whole, as he was with every crisis, every mission, every intervention. No call, no email, milestones, or poorer for it. And now that he's gone to his Maker, bold and comforted by the outpouring of love and support we have received around the world, we are richer for having shared him with you. Stubborn optimist that he was, he would want a peaceful world. Kofi, Pana Lafia, Ya Wajoba, Kofi, Demri Fred Biedwe.
Honor and celebrate the life of a great person I was privileged to call Daddy. My father will always be someone special in my life for exactly what he is, a man with a generosity of spirit who gave him. Father always made you feel welcome and listened attentively to everything you had to say. People that were always in the forefront of his mind. Yet somehow, the darkness of the human condition, life is not easy. And he would urge us to appreciate everything that we had, good or bad, as someone somewhere always had it worse. Someone shooting at you, he asked. I was confused as I didn't understand why he was asking that. Is someone shooting at you, he repeated. No, I said. Progress in every society. He sought truth and fought for peace in his mild, quiet manner. And with a soft voice and steady temperament, he willed all of us to share in his study.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the next wreath will come from the widow, and I will respectfully invite Mrs. Nan Maria Annan to read her tribute.
Dear friends of our beloved Kofi, Thank you for all your support at this difficult time. Dear Ghana, I remember how excited he always was returning home to Ghana. On arrival, he would draw in the air, feel attended a conference in Freetown. Already at that young age, would have his irresistible aura of radiant warmth and determination. We who met him later in life could all feel it, this aura and his joy of life. But whose lives he touched. This is especially true of the young, in whom he believed so fervently. He would often address them directly. Were they drawn in because they found a kindred soul? He challenged them and all of us to work for a better world, right where we are, in our homes. His legacy will live on in his foundation and in all of us. My love, you are now back a human being. As Alistair. The rest is history, but is it not amazing that he already could all feel it, this aura and his joy of life? Would not his joy of life be the very foundation?
To Nane Annan and the Annan family, to Kofi Annan's larger family, starting with you, Your Excellency, every corner of the globe, to the many members of the United Nations community who grieve the passing of one of our own. Since the shock of Kofi's death, I've been reflecting on what made him so special. And to my mind, it is simply this. Kofi Annan was both one of a kind and one of us. He was an exceptional global leader. Everything, sometimes without uttering a word. It came from the dignity and the moral voice, that lilt that made people smile and think of music. But his words were tough and wise, and sometimes the graver the situation, the lower that voice would get. We would lean in to listen, and the world would lean in, and we were rewarded by his wisdom. Kofi's people and engaging new partners in protecting the environment. Dear friends, we march together through life. We work together, he from the United Nations and I from...
To our country, essential diplomat. These words are still inadequate to capture the fullness. He was my senior. We were good friends for most of my adult life. His father, Kofi Annan, was one of the stalwarts of the Dankwa Domo Buzia political tradition, serving as the Ashanti regional minister under Prime Minister Dr. Kofi Annan Progress Party government of the Second Republic. Although he never acknowledged in my presence his attachment to the tradition, his advocacy of human rights, respect for the principle of democratic accountability was the very essence of that tradition. Secretary General of the United Nations, Kofi Annan was the first from sub-Saharan Africa to occupy this exalted office, which made him the world's top diplomat. He brought considerable renown to our country by this position and by his conduct and comportment in the global arena. Indeed, the outpouring of tributes from the world over is an accurate measure of the man, a man who gave his life to making peace where there was conflict, to defending the voiceless who were powerless, to promoting virtue where there was evil. Despite the unjustified attacks on him, trying to fix him with responsibility for the genocides in Rwanda and Srebrenica when he was head of UN peace operations, he never lost his moral compass, as he showed when he stood up to the might of the world's greatest power of all right-thinking persons. He has been vindicated by histories, permitted by the statutes of the university. I bemoaned my ill luck, even though as life would have it, the university has found in Mary Chinrihese, his old and trusted friend, a worthy successor. A devout Christian, an outstanding Ghanaian and African, who served his country, Africa, and humanity with dignity and humility, has left us to join his maker. Ghana, Africa, and the world have suffered greatly from his passing. I am wholly humbled by the opportunity given to me by the grace of God and the generosity of the Ghanaian people to decree as President of the Republic, most fittingly, a state funeral in his honor. He had strong, loving maternal ties to his maternal and paternal origins, and has left behind his constant companion, his beloved devoted wife, Nan Maria, and their cherished children, Amma, Kojo, and Nina. On behalf of the government and people of Ghana, my wife Rebecca, and our children, I extend our profound condolences to his entire family on its irreparable loss, and wish him peaceful rest in the bosom of the Almighty. He deserves it. God bless him.
The Accra Rites Church Choir will give us an anthem as we prepare our hearts for the sermon, to be delivered by Most Reverend Dr. J.O. Akrofi. Accra Rites Church Choir.
Beside the temple there, I heard the children singing, and ever as they sang, methought the voice of angels from heaven answering, methought the voice of angels from heaven answering. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, lift up your gates and sing, Hosanna. Methought the voice of angels from heaven answering. Methought the voice of angels from heaven answering. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, lift up your gates and sing, Hosanna in the highest, Hosanna to your King.
And then methought my dream was changed, the streets no longer rang. Hush with the glad hosannas, the little children sang. The sun grew dark with mystery, the morn was cold and chill. As the shadow of the cross arose upon the lonely hill, as the shadow of the cross on the lonely Jerusalem, Jerusalem, hark how the angels sing, Hosanna, Hosanna to your King. And once again the scene was changed, new earth seemed to be.
Lightless sea,
The light of God was on the streets, the gates were open wide.
enter, and no one was denied.
And to shine by day,
It was the new Jerusalem that would not pass away. It was the new Jerusalem.
Jerusalem, Jerusalem, sing for the night is come. Hosanna in the highest, Hosanna forevermore. Hosanna in the
Force him to come back. Amen. Some of them left a name behind them, so that their praises are Ecclesiasticus chapter 44, verse 8. Some of them left a name behind them, so that their praises are still sung. On Wednesday 20, the book of Ecclesiasticus. It was written by a Jewish scribe and teacher who had had a career as a diplomat, like some of the people who have come from Geneva and New York today. The writing has the subtitle of Fidelity to the Wisdom of God's People. My effort here is in contribution to faithful pursuit of the wisdom by which to live. It is the note of fidelity that leads me to the key word of remembering, which is not only some intellectual activity. More importantly, it is fidelity to what is remembered, which demands internalizing and following the worthy examples of our forebears. The pomp and circumstance of this occasion, the travel and presence of the current Secretary General of the United Nations, current and past staff and officers of the United Nations, not to forget the presence of heads of states and the past heads of state of Ghana and other officials together constitute a drama of remembering and remembrance Kofi Annan for what he did and represented, not just position and titles. Imagine this. If Kofi had been nasty to others or egocentric, they would not have been minded to travel all the way to this celebration. We have come to this happening because we remember him for a life well lived for others. What will your memorial be, positive or negative? Yes, a man who lived for others so that those others can thrive, stand, and walk in dignity and style. We remember his efforts with the pharmaceutical companies to provide affordable antiretroviral drugs for the poor, saving many lives. His efforts in South Africa, European and Asian hotspots tell a story of one who spent and was spent on behalf of others. Others have told the story of his contributions, so I will not repeat them. But they confirm the thesis that Kofi Annan spent and was spent in the interest of many, if not all, sharing the common good. According to Akan wisdom, the one whose duty it is to fetch water for the household is the one likely to break the water-carrying pot. Even as a strong